There's nothing to help. Watch me run by, one by one. Count my cards.
The morning of June 27th was clear and sunny, with fresh warmth of a full summer day. The flowers were blossoming profusely, and the grass was richly green. The people of the village began to gather in the square between the post office and the bank around 10 o'clock, and sometimes there were so many people that the lottery took 2 days and had to be started on June 5th. But in this village, where there were only about 300 people, the whole lottery took less than 2 hours. So it could begin at 10 o'clock in the morning and still be through in time for the villagers to get home for noon dinner. The children assembled first, of course. School was recently out for the summer, and the feeling of liberty set uneasily on most of them. They tended to gather together quietly for a while before they broke into boisterous play. And their talk was still of the classroom and the teacher, books and reprimands. Bobby Martin had already stuffed his pockets full of stones, and the other boys soon followed his example, selecting the smoothest and roundest stones. Bobby and Harry Jones and Dickie Delacroix. The villagers pronounced his name Delacroix. The three of them eventually made a great pile of stones in one corner of the square and guarded it against the raids of the other boys. The girls stood aside, talking among themselves, looking over their shoulders at the boys, at the very small children, rolled in dust or clung to the hands of their older brothers and sisters. Soon the men began to gather, surveilling their own children, speaking of planting and rain, tractors and taxes. They stood together, away from the piles of stones in the corner. Their jokes were quiet, and they smiled rather than laughed. Yeah. The women, wearing faded house dresses and sweaters, came shortly after their menfolk. Come on. Hello, yes. Did you hear what happened to Ruby? No, what happened to her? Honey, come here. Honey, come on. Bobby Martin, get over here. Bobby Martin. Bobby Martin, come here. The lottery was conducted, as were the square dances, the teen club, and the Halloween program, by Mr. Summers, who had time and energy to devote to civic activities. He was a round-faced, jovial man, and he ran the coal business. And people were sorry for him, because he had no children, and his wife was a scold. Yes, for sure. We'll be okay. Little late today, folks. Some of you folks want to give me a hand? The original paraphernalia for the lottery had been lost long ago, and the black box now resting on the stool had been put into use even before Old Man Warner, the oldest man in town, was born. Mr. Summers spoke frequently to the villagers about making a new box, but no one liked to upset, even as so much tradition was represented by the black box. There was the story that the present box had been made of some pieces of the box that had preceded it, the one that had been constructed when the first people settled down to make a village here. Every year after the lottery, Mr. Summers began talking again about a new box, but every year the subject was allowed to fade off without anything being done. The black box grew shabbier every year. By now it was no longer completely black, but splintered badly along one side to show the original wood color, and in some places faded or stained. Mr. Martin and his oldest son Baxter held the box securely on the stool until Mr. Summers had stirred the papers thoroughly with his hand. Because so much of the ritual had been forgotten or discarded, Mr. Summers had been successful in having the slips of paper substituted for the chips of wood that had been used for generations. Chips of wood had all been very well when the village was tiny, but now that the population was more than 300, and likely to keep on growing, it was necessary to use something that would fit more easily into the black box. The night before the lottery, Mr. Summers and Mr. Graves made up the slips of paper and put them in the box, and it was taken to the safe of Mr. Summers' coal company and locked up until Mr. Summers was ready to take it to the square the next morning. The rest of the year, the box was put away. It had spent 1 year in Mr. Graves' barn and another year underfoot in the post office, and sometimes it was on a shelf in the Martin grocery and left there. There was a great deal of fussing that had to be done before Mr. Summers declared the lottery open. There were lists to make up of heads of families, heads of households in each family, members of each household in each family. There was proper swearing in of Mr. Summers by the postmaster as the official of the lottery at one time. Some people remember there had been a recital of some sort, performed by the official of the lottery, a functionary, tuneless chant that had been rattled off duly each year. Some people believed that the official of the lottery used to stand just when he said or sung it. Others believed it was supposed to walk among the people, but years and years ago this part of the ritual had always been allowed to lapse. There had been a ritual salute, which the official of the lottery had to use in addressing each person who came up to draw from the box. But this had also changed with time, until now it was felt necessary only for the official to speak at each person approaching. Mr. Summers was very good at this. In his clean white shirt and blue jeans with one hand resting carelessly on the black box, he seemed very proper and important as he talked interminably to Mr. Graves and the Martins. Alright everyone, so another year of the lottery is in place. We are going to be doing this shortly, and as you know, the ritual, the chant will not be included this year. And also... Oh, you're here. Clean forgot what day it was. Thought my old man was out back stocking wood. Then I looked out the window and the kids were gone. Then I remembered it was the 27th and came a-running. You're in time, though. They're still talking away up there. Oh, here comes your Mrs. Hutchinson. Bill, she made it after all. Hi. Thought we were going to have to get on without you, Tessie. Wouldn't have me leave my dishes in the sink now, would you, Joe? Well, now. I guess we better get started, get this over with so we can go back to work. Anybody ain't here? Dunbar! Clyde Dunbar, that's right. He's broke his leg, hasn't he? Who's drawing for him? Me, I guess. Wife draws for her husband. Don't you have a grown boy to do it for you, Janie? Although Mr. Summers and everyone else in the village knew the answer perfectly well, it was the business of the official of the lottery to ask such questions formally. Mr. Summers waited with an expression of polite interest while Mrs. Dunbar answered. Horan's not but 16 yet. Guess I gotta fill in for the old man this year. Right. Watson boy drawing this year? Here, I'm drawing for my mother and me. Good fellow. Glad to see your mother's got a man to do it. Well, I guess that's everyone. Old man Warner make it? Here. All ready? Now, I'll read the names, heads of families first, then the men come up and take a paper out of the box. Keep the paper folded in your hand without looking at it until everyone has a turn. Everything clear? The people had done it so many times they only half listened to the directions. Most of them were quiet, wetting their lips, not looking around. Adams. Hi, Steve. Hi, Joe. Allen, Anderson, Bethan. It seems like there's no time at all between lotteries anymore. Seems like we got through with the last one only last week. Time sure goes fast. Delacroix. There goes my old man. Dunbar. Go on, Janie. There she goes. Haybert, Hutchinson. Get up there, Bill. Jones. They do say that over in the North Village, they're talking of giving up the lottery. Crazy pack of fools. Listening to young folks, nothing's good enough for them. Next thing you know, they'll be wanting to go back to living in caves. Nobody works anymore. Live that way for a while. Used to be a saying about lottery in June. Corn we'll be having soon. First thing you know, we'd all be eating stewed chickweed and acorns.
There's always been a lottery. Bad enough to see Joe Summers up there joking with everybody.
Some people have already quit lotteries.
Nothing but trouble in that. Pack of young fools. Martin. Overdyke, Percy.
I wish they'd hurry.
They're almost done though.
You get ready to run tell Dad.
Summers, oh that's me. Warner. 77th year I've been in the lottery. 77th time. Watson.
Don't be nervous, Jack.
Take your time, son. Zahini. All right, fellows.
Who's got it? Who's got it? Yeah. Is it the Dunbars? Is it the Watsons?
It's the Hutchinsons.
It's Bill. Bill Hutchinson's got it. Go tell your father.
You didn't give him enough time to take any paper he wanted. I saw you. It wasn't fair.
Be a good sport, Tessie. All of us took the same chance.
Shut up, Tessie. Well, everyone, that was done pretty fast, and now we've got to be hurrying a little more to get done in time. Bill, you draw for the Hutchinsons family. You got any other households in the Hutchinsons? There's Don and Eva. Make them take their chance. Daughters draw with their husbands' families, Tessie. You know that as well as everyone else. It wasn't fair. I guess not, Joe. My daughters draw with her husband's family. That's only fair. And I've got no other family except the kids. And as far as drawing for families is concerned, it's you. And as far as drawing in households is concerned, that's you too, right? Right. How many kids, Bill? 3. There's Bill Nancy, Jr., Little Dave, Tessie, and me. All right then. Harry, you got their tickets back? Mm-hmm. Put them in the box then. Take Bill's and put it in.
I say we start over. I tell you, it wasn't fair. You didn't give him enough time to choose. Everybody saw that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Listen, everybody, please. Mommy.
Ready, Bill? Remember, take the slips and keep them folded until each person has taken one. Harry, you help Little Dave. Take a paper out of the box, Davy. Take just one paper. Harry, you hold it for him. Nancy next.
Nancy was 12, and her school friends breathed heavily as she went forward.
Bill Jr.? Oh. Tessie? Bill?
I hope it's not Nancy. Ugh. Not the way it used to be. People ain't the way they used to be.
All right, open your papers. Harry, you open Little Dave's. It's blank.
Blank! Blank, yay!
Tessie? Blank. It's Tessie. Show us her paper, Bill.
Bill Hutchinson went over to his wife and forced a slip of paper out of her hand. It had a black spot on it, the black spot that Mr. Summers had made the night before with the heavy pencil in the coal company office. Bill Hutchinson held it up, and there was a stir in the crowd.
Oh my God. All right, folks, let's finish up quickly.
Although the villagers have forgotten the ritual and lost the original black box, they still remember to use stones.
The pile of stones the boys had made earlier was ready. There were stones on the ground with the blowing scrapes of paper that had come out of the box.
Come on, hurry up. I can't run at all. You'll have to go ahead and I'll catch up with you.
Tessie Hutchinson was in the center of a cleared space by now, and she held her hands out desperately as the villagers moved in on her.
It isn't fair. It isn't fair. Come on, everyone. It isn't fair. It isn't right.
And then they were upon her.